Hello everyone, welcome to my channel What I Think of. So, what I think of the series Squid Game. I've just watched it, finished it, saw all episodes, and now I thought why not give my review of it. I will just give a brief overview of this series. This is a South Korean series, basically. It is a Netflix original, and what I think about it. It's a good series, or should I say, it is a very good series. I watched it in one day, and when I started watching it, I gave it a score of, say, 7 out of 10. And then some more episodes I watched, and then I gave it 7.5 out of 10. And towards the end of it, I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. Even though there are some issues, couple of major issues for me, as an audience, I would say, watching this series, my overall score stands at 8 out of 10 for this series. It is an extremely good series, and despite its two major flaws, I still can't help it other than to give it an 8 out of 10. Let me discuss just briefly its main issues. One issue, of course, is that it is a South Korean series. It was made in South Korean language, in South Korean dialogue. So, after that, once it is done in South Korean language, the English dubbing was done. So, the sound of English dialogue is not in sync with the movement of lips of characters because it is made in South Korean language, and later on English dubbing is done. So audio of the dialogue is out of sync. That is probably the biggest issue I have with this series. Even though it is a really really good series, I would say it still is an 8 out of 10. And the second issue I have with it, in probably seventh episode, I forgot, yeah, probably in the seventh episode, they did something bad in terms of the story aspect. I will not spoil anything, but they did something in seventh episode that kind of ruined the enjoyment for me, little bit, not much, but I thought they could have done it in some other way. I will not spoil it, but that's something I did not like. And I thought about taking one or two or half of the point out from my overall score for this series. Like I would give it a 7.5 or 7.75. But in the end, I thought that just one basic, one small, not a small, you could say, one major error in terms of story of the series, and the other basic error which you cannot get away with. I mean, it is this series is made in a foreign language, so later on doing the English dubbing for an English audience is not going to be enjoyable. I mean, it is what it is, but it is so good of a series. I mean, so many things I liked about it. First of all, it looked so much good. I mean, beautiful series. It's of course made in 4K format, so there you go. The picture is going to be really, really crisp. The colors are going to be awesome. Besides that, it looked really, really awesome. The environment which they created is absolutely amazing. I mean, the halls, the rooms, big halls which they created. I mean, inside one of the hall there would be absolute light. I mean, in some other hall there would be something else. I mean, the halls, the rooms which they made, absolutely amazing. So this series looked really, really good to one's eye, you can say. To my eye, it looked brilliant. Superb. So superbly made series in terms of looks, And another thing is, being a South Korean series, I had some doubts. I had some concerns how much good the sound of this series would be, the sound design. Well, I'm happy to report that uh, its sound design is also brilliant. The surround sound worked very nice in this series. Well, some people watching this review of mine, they would say, sound design of almost everything these days is good. No, it is not that good. Not all of the things made, series or movies made, have a good surround sound. I mean, its surround sound is awesome. It really worked well. If some voice is coming from left, so you will hear from your left speaker. If someone is behind you, your rear speakers will give the sound. So I would say the sound design of this series is very good and brilliantly done. When I see all the good things about this series, even though there are some major issues which I have discussed. One, in one episode they did something wrong story wise, and the inherent issue in this series being the South Korean series and English voiceover done later on, and which is out of sync of of the movement of lips of the characters. But still, I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10 for any series is a really, really high score. And that too for a foreign series. I mean, some series coming out of South Korea, it's really, really good. Talks praise about this series. Yeah. And when I was watching this series, the whole time a thought came into my mind that, see, Koreans have proved their mettle to the world. Koreans have proved their skill to the world. I mean, look at the electronics giant, Samsung. Samsung is ruling the world, or one of the companies to rule the world of electronics and mobile, along with the likes of Sony, Apple, and other major companies of the world. So, Koreans are really, I mean, coming into their own, and they are showing how capable they are. And now, they have sent a strong signal to everyone that Koreans are now stepping in the world of entertainment, movie making, and series, all these things. So, watch out, world, for Koreans, I would say. It's a very well made series, and it was released in September. Yeah, I just ignored it, but then I thought, why not give it a chance? And I watched it and really, really liked it. So I would highly recommend to anyone that he or she should watch this series. It is very, very good. It is a bit violent. Yeah, the story premise is such that it appears to be very violent. The story premise and another thing is very, very good. It's a different premise, it's a different type of story. Very, very well made series. So that was my non spoiler review of Squid Game, a South Korean series available on Netflix. See, Netflix is ruling the world in terms of streaming services. They are perhaps the number one streaming service right now. They have tons of content on their platform. Be it any movie, any good movie, any big movie is there. Any recent movie, any recent good movie will have every chance to come on their platform. Albeit it will come late, but it will come in the end. So that's it. I'm out of here. Adios.